Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to solve 2 by 2 and 3 by 3 systems with Cramer's rule. Up until this point, we know two different methods to solve 2 by 2s and 3 by 3s. We know substitution and elimination. Okay, which both of those can be kind of tedious depending on how big your numbers are, especially with 3 by 3s. They get really complicated. So with what's called Cramer's rule, it's super simple. Okay, so go ahead and let's look at this first one. So step 1 is to establish the coefficient matrix. Here's what that means. Coefficient number in front of the variables. Okay, so we have the coefficients right here. Our coefficient matrix is 1, 5, negative 5, 3. That's our coefficient matrix. Okay, now I want to make some notes here. This is the X column, this is the Y column. Okay, so that becomes important when we get over here and actually start solving for those letters. All right, step 1 is to do the determinant. Okay, so the determinant 3, 1 times 3 is 3 minus a negative 25. So that makes my determinant 28. Okay, now here's what it looks like once we start setting up and solving for X. So X equals, I always draw a big X equals. On the bottom is going to be that determinant from step 2. Okay, determinant from step 2 straight in the bottom. On the top is the determinant, but it's manipulated a little bit of this coefficient matrix. Since we are solving for X, instead of putting the X values in there, we're going to put the answers to the equations in there. So this is a 15 and this is a 47. Okay, and then in the Y column is a negative 5 and a 3. Okay, so again, we're going to, whatever column you're solving for, you're going to put the answers in there. Okay, so that is a 15 and a 47 in the X column, a negative 5 and a 3 in the Y column. Okay, so go ahead and see if you can find the determinant of the top. Alright, so to find the determinant of the top, we're going to do the 15 times 3, which is 45, minus, and then 47 times 5 is a negative 235. Okay, which if I added correctly, that's positive 280 divided by 28, so that makes X 10. Okay? Now, I know once you figure out X is 10, you can just go right back over here, plug in 10, and solve for Y, okay? I know you can do that, but I want to show you how to do it with Cramer's rule, okay? So again, same steps, except Y equals, again, on the bottom is that determinant that we found in step number 2, same determinant. On the top, okay, now we're solving for the Y. So the answers go in the Y column, and the X's are normal X's, okay? Then we still find that determinant. 1 times 47 is 47, minus 5 times 15, 75, over 28. Okay, 47 minus 75 is negative 28 over 28, which makes Y equal negative 1. Now, step 5, really important. The answer to a system of equations is an ordered pair. The ordered pair is 10, negative 1. Okay, let's do a quick check. 5 times 10 is 50, plus 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. 50 plus negative 3 is 47. Same deal here. 10 minus 5 times negative 1, 10, that's plus 5 is 15. So that checks out. Okay? So on your little take-home assignment that you're going to be doing over fall break, the Cramer's rule question, there is a question on there that says, how would you set up and solve for X or Y using Cramer's rule? Okay, so you have to know how to set that up. It's not asking you, there are some that ask you to actually solve the system, but there's also some that ask you for the setup. Okay, all right, let's try another one, and what we're going to try to do here is, 3 by 3, okay? 3 by 3. All right. So the first step, and I'm going to walk through these steps on separate pages. So the first step is to find the coefficient matrix again. Okay, so be careful with this one, because if you notice, we have an x and a y and a z, and an x and a z. So there are some missing coefficients. So in my first equation, I have 5, 7, 0, because I'm missing the z. Then I have a 0x, negative 2y, 3z. Then I have a 7x, a 0y, and a negative 1z. Okay, now again, the columns are x, y, and z. Okay, now I want us to actually find the determinant of this 3 by 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and rewrite those first two columns. So 5, 0, 7, 7, negative 2, 0. Okay, I'm going to use my highlighter this time instead of circling, so make that a little bit smaller. Alright, so here's my first column. And remember, those first columns I'm still adding. And then I minus, and then I go the other direction. Okay, so 5 times negative 2 times negative 1 is 10. Next column, next diagonal, 7 times 3 times 7. 147. And then we have 0, 0, 0. That makes that easy. 0, 0, 0 is 0. Okay, now we're going to go the other way. 7, negative 2, 0 is 0. Okay. 0, 3, 5, still 0. This is coming out nice. And negative 1, 0, 7, still 0. Alright, so it looks like my determinant is 157. Okay, now that I'm my graphing calculator, I'm going to show you how to do this on your graphing calculator. So mine looks a little bit different because it's of course the one for the computer, but it's pretty close. So you're going to still go to second matrix. I showed you all where that button was on Thursday. So second matrix, and you get the menu that looks like this. Okay, we are going to scroll over to edit. Okay, and we're going to select matrix A. And our matrix is a 3 by 3. Okay, so I'm going to kind of run dual screens here so that you can see what I'm putting in. Okay, you're just going to enter your matrix. So 5, 7, 0, 0, negative 2, 3, and 7, 0, negative 1. Okay. Alright, once you've got your matrix entered, you are going to do second quit. Okay, otherwise it won't give you the right things. And we're going to go back to the matrix menu. Okay, and now we're going to go over to math, and we're going to check our determinant. So determinant, enter, and then we're going to go back to matrix, and we are going to select matrix A, where we have a 3 by 3, close your parentheses, hit enter. We got 157. Okay, oops, I didn't mean to make that huge. 157. Okay, so that's what we got. All right, so a good way to check. All right, now I'm gonna let you use your matrix to figure out the rest of the variables. Okay, so I'm gonna minimize this for a second. Let's go to the next page. We're gonna set up and solve for x. Okay, so put your big X equals. Okay. We got as our determinant 157, so that goes on the bottom. Okay, do your big matrix bars at the top. Okay, now you remember that if we're solving for x, the answers go in the x column. Okay, so negative 1, 9, 27 go in the x column. Okay, and then our other two columns are the same. So 7, negative 2, 0. and, oops, wrong way, 0, 3, negative 1. 0, 3, negative 1. Okay, so now this becomes super easy on our calculator. All right, we're going to go back to second matrix. Now that I've got it set up, I'm just going to edit and redetermine my determinant. Okay, so we are going to edit matrix A, and everything is cool except for that first column. So my first number, my first column is now negative 1. Okay, and then keep going ahead, and then we're putting in a 9, and then a 27. Oops, not 99. Delete. Clear. 9. And then we're going to go down and put it in a 27. Yes, you can use the arrows, okay? And then do second quit again. Okay, now go back and redetermine the determinant. So second matrix over to math determinant. We're still operating in matrix A. So second matrix, choose matrix A, close your parentheses, hit enter, and I get 628. Okay, so now the top of my fraction is 628 divided by 157. Okay, so write it out on your calculator. I hope it comes out even. I think it does. 628 divided by 157 is 4. All right, that's nice. 4. Okay. All right, let's solve for y. What I would like for you to do is try to do the setup by yourself. Okay, still 157 here on the bottom. Okay, we're going to set up our matrix on the top. Now what goes down the middle column? The answers. So negative 1, 9, and 27 are down the middle. Now be careful. Make sure you go all the way back to the beginning and pull your original coefficient matrix to go in the other column. So we have 507 here and 0, 3, negative 1. 0, 3, negative 1. Okay, so now unfortunately when I go back to my calculator, I'm going to have to edit 2 columns because I changed the first one to be those answers. So second matrix, over to edit. Okay, we have 3 by 3. In the first column we have 5, 0, 7. In the second column we have 27 is the bottom number. I'm going backwards. 9, negative 1. It's a little bit easier for you guys on your calculators than it is for me to do that. Okay, now that we've got it, again, do second quit. Otherwise, your calculator gets all messed up. Now, do you see how we've done determinant of A every single time because I've called it A every single time? Just hit second entry and pull that entry again and hit enter, and we get negative 471. So negative 471, which I think is 3. Let's double check ourselves. 471 divided by 157 is negative 3. All right, so then the last one that we have to set up and solve for is z. Okay, so z equals, same deal, 157 down here. Okay, now my coefficient matrix has those answers in the z column. Okay, in the z column. Now make sure again that you go back to the beginning and you copy those first 2 columns from the original coefficient matrix. So we have 507. And then my second column is 7, negative 20. 7, negative 20. All right, I'm going to be quiet for a minute and I'm going to let you do this on your calculator, and I'm going to do a bunch of clicking, so you try to do it on your calculator. Alright guys, so I did all of my clicky, and I got 157, over 157, which is 1. Okay, so that leaves our triple as 4, -3, 1. Okay, again, you can go back to the beginning and check it in all 3 problems if you want to, all 3 equations. So we can do that real quick. 4, -3, 1 was what I got for my triple. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 7 times -3 is -21, gives me -1. -2 times -3 is 6, plus 3 times 1 is 9. And then 7 times 4 is 28, minus 1 is 27. So we got it. Okay, we got it. All right. Let's see. I'm going to do this last one, but I'm going to hit pause every now and then, and I'm going to let you try it by yourself. So if you will, please go ahead and set up your coefficient matrix and calculate the determinant of that on your calculator. You can do it on your calculator. I'm okay with that. So go ahead and do that, and then we will come back and check. Alright guys, I hope that you were able to pause and calculate for a minute. I got 180 as my determinant. Okay, so now we're going to go on and finish solving. Okay, I want you to go ahead and set up and solve for x, okay, and then hit pause again, and we will check in just a minute. Okay, kiddos, so when I did the determinant of the top, I got 120 divided by 180, which if we do some simplifying is 2/3. Okay, 120 divided by 180. Okay, all right, I want you to go on and set up and solve for y. Okay, so go ahead and hit pause right here. Again, still 180 in the denominator. Remember, the only thing that changes is from that original coefficient matrix, my answers are going to go in the y column. So go ahead and hit pause and calculate, and then we will. Alright, so when I found the determinant of this one, I got 90. So 90 over 180 is 1/2. Okay, alright, let's do the last one. So z equals, still 180 on the bottom. Go ahead and set up and solve for z. Hit pause, and then you can hit play whenever you have calculated z. Alright kiddos, for this one I got -60, which gives me a -1/3. Okay, so when I write my triple, 2/3, comma 1/2, comma -1/3. So just imagine if you had tried to solve this system using substitution and elimination with all those fractions. That would have really been a pain in the rear. So we are happy for matrices to be able to set up and solve using Kramer's rule. Now tomorrow, this seems like a lot of steps to get an x, y, and z, and I get that. But tomorrow, I'm going to show you an even easier way using inverses. So look forward to that, and I will see you guys not tomorrow, on Monday.